Welcome to our documentary, where we embark on a journey through the lives and legacies of some of history's greatest composers. In this series, we will explore their stories, their struggles, and the indelible marks they left on the world of music. From the trailblazers like Florence Price, who reshaped classical music, to the revered figures whose works continue to echo across generations, these artists not only transformed music, they transformed the world. Today as the epitome of musical genius. Born on March 31st, 1685, in Eisenach, Germany, Bach was immersed in music from an early age. Coming from a long line of musicians, he was trained rigorously in the musical traditions of his family and the German Baroque period. Throughout his life, Bach worked as a church organist, violinist, and composer, creating some of the most complex and beloved music ever written. Bach's music is characterized by its incredible technical precision, particularly his mastery of counterpoint. The art of combining different musical lines in a way that is both harmonically rich and melodically intricate. His ability to interweave multiple voices within a single composition created a sense of depth and complexity that had never before been achieved. His works showcase the supreme control he had over harmony, rhythm, and structure. Whether through the flowing, complex fugues in the Well-Tempered Clavier or the spirited interplay of melodies in the Brandenburg Concertos, Bach's compositions are filled with an intellectual rigor and a sense of emotional depth that transcend time and place. The Brandenburg Concertos and Orchestral Mastery. Among Bach's most celebrated instrumental works are the Brandenburg Concertos. These 6 concertos, written for a variety of instruments, are brilliant examples of Bach's orchestral ingenuity. Each concerto showcases Bach's ability to combine various musical voices, strings, woodwinds, and brass, into a harmonious whole, while allowing each instrument to shine with virtuosity. The Brandenburg Concerto No. 3, for example, features an energetic exchange between the strings and the orchestra, while the Brandenburg Concerto No. 5 highlights the harpsichord in a dazzling display of virtuosity and counterpoint. Each of these concertos, unique in its structure and instrumentation, demonstrates Bach's unparalleled ability to balance complexity with beauty. Another of Bach's most important contributions to music is the Well-Tempered Clavier, a collection of 2 volumes of preludes and fugues written for the harpsichord. This work not only demonstrates Bach's mastery of counterpoint, but also serves as a monumental achievement in the development of Western music theory. Through the 48 preludes and fugues in the Well-Tempered Clavier, Bach explores every major and minor key, creating a collection that is both a technical marvel and a profound emotional journey. The fugues, with their intricate interplay of voices, are a masterclass in the art of counterpoint, while the preludes offer a beautiful contrast with their lyrical, expressive melodies, a legacy that transcends time. Though Bach was not widely recognized during his lifetime, his influence on music, both in his own era and in the centuries to come, has been immeasurable. His works were revered by later composers such as Beethoven, Mozart, and Brahms, who saw in Bach a model of compositional perfection. Even today, musicians, composers, and music lovers continue to study and perform Bach's works, seeking to understand the deep intellectual and emotional power within them. Bach's music stands as the pinnacle of Baroque complexity, yet it is also profoundly human in its expression. His ability to fuse intellectual rigor with emotional depth makes his music both a technical achievement and an expression of the human spirit. As one of the greatest composers in history, Johann Sebastian Bach's music continues to inspire, challenge, and move us across centuries. Through his intricate counterpoint, his inventive orchestral writing, and his harmonic brilliance, Bach has left a legacy that remains foundational to the Western classical tradition, and his compositions will continue to echo through the ages. The Life and Legacy of Frédéric Chopin. Welcome to the next chapter in our exploration of master composers, where we turn our attention to the delicate and profoundly emotional music of Frédéric Chopin. A composer whose works remain central to the piano repertoire, Chopin's music is celebrated for its intimate expressiveness, virtuosic technique, and deep emotional resonance. Born on March 1, 1810, in Żelazowa Wola, Poland, Chopin was a prodigy from a young age, showing remarkable talent as both a pianist and composer. His early years in Poland, immersed in the rich folk music and musical traditions of his homeland, would leave an indelible mark on his compositions. By the age of 20, Chopin had already gained recognition as a gifted composer, and his move to Paris in 1831 would mark the beginning of his most productive and influential period. A composer for the piano. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Chopin focused almost exclusively on the piano, composing works that expanded the expressive possibilities of the instrument. His piano pieces, from impassioned nocturnes to dazzling etude, showcase his technical brilliance and his ability to evoke the full spectrum of human emotion through music. Chopin's works are filled with delicate, lyrical lines and intricate, often virtuosic passages. His compositions are marked by a unique fusion of technical complexity and emotional depth, drawing out the nuances of both the performer and the listener. Whether through the sweeping, melancholic melodies of his nocturnes or the intricate, virtuosic runs of his etude, Chopin's piano works transcend mere technical feats, creating moments of beauty and introspection. Nocturnes, a journey of emotion. Among Chopin's most beloved works are his nocturnes, a set of pieces that showcase his unparalleled ability to blend lyrical beauty with emotional depth. Inspired by the gentle nighttime serenades of Italian composer John Field, Chopin infused the form with a new level of expressiveness, often using the piano's rich, resonant tones to convey feelings of longing, nostalgia, and introspection. The Nocturne in E-flat major, Op. 9 No. 2, is perhaps the most famous of these works, with its flowing, sighing melody that seems to reflect a deep yearning. Each of Chopin's nocturnes is a carefully crafted meditation on the human condition, with delicate phrasing and harmonies that draw the listener into an emotional space of tranquility, sorrow, or even quiet joy. Etude, virtuosity, and innovation. Equally as iconic are Chopin's Etude, a series of 27 piano compositions that, while originally written as exercises to develop specific technical skills, have become some of the most challenging and emotionally complex works in the piano repertoire. Each etude is a study in musical technique, whether it be speed, dexterity, or hand coordination. Yet Chopin transformed them into stunning works of art, with lyrical melodies and evocative harmonies that elevate them far beyond mere technical exercises. The Etude in C minor, Op. 10 No. 12, known as the Revolutionary Etude, is one of his most famous, with its rapid, thunderous chords and intense energy conveying the turbulent emotions of the time. Yet even in the most technically demanding pieces, Chopin's ability to convey deep emotion is unmistakable, creating an intimate conversation between the performer and the listener. A legacy of musical innovation. Chopin's music was revolutionary in its approach to piano composition, transforming the instrument into a vehicle for deep emotional expression and technical exploration. His innovative use of rhythm, harmony, and phrasing influenced not only his contemporaries, but also generations of composers who followed, from Franz Liszt to Sergei Rachmaninoff. Chopin's legacy is also tied to the profound impact his music continues to have on pianists today. His works are among the most revered in the piano repertoire, demanding not only technical virtuosity, but also a deep understanding of the emotional nuances embedded in every note. Whether in concert halls or in intimate settings, Chopin's music remains a touchstone for performers and listeners alike, embodying the soul of the piano itself. A life cut short, but enduring sadly, Chopin's life was short. Struggling with poor health, he passed away at the age of 39 on October 17, 1849, in Paris. His frailty was matched by the fragility of his music, tender, introspective, and often tinged with melancholy. Yet despite his early death, Chopin's influence on the music world has been profound and lasting. His compositions continue to inspire pianists, composers, and listeners around the world, and his ability to express the deepest facets of the human experience through the piano remains unparalleled. Frédéric Chopin's music is a test of the emotional power of the piano. Through his delicate melodies, intricate rhythms, and unparalleled technique, he created a body of work that will continue to move and inspire generations to come, making him a permanent figure in the history of Western classical music. The life and legacy of R. Nathaniel Dett. Welcome to the next chapter in our exploration of master composers, where we shine a light on the remarkable life and legacy of R. Nathaniel Dett, a composer and pianist whose work bridged the worlds of African American spirituals and classical music. Born on October 9, 1882, in Drummondville, Canada, to parents of African descent, R. Nathaniel Dett's early life was shaped by the rich cultural heritage of the African American experience. Raised in a home where music was deeply valued, he developed an early love for piano and composition, a passion that would eventually lead him to become one of the most significant African American composers of his time. A unique musical voice. Dett's unique contribution to classical music was his ability to seamlessly incorporate African American spirituals, folk songs, and rhythms into the Western classical tradition. He was deeply moved by the emotional depth and rich history of African American spirituals, and he saw in these traditional songs a musical language that could speak to universal themes of longing, hope, and resilience. As a composer, Dett sought to elevate the African American spiritual, preserving its authenticity while also infusing it with the complexity and formality of classical composition. His compositions, such as the Chariot Jubilee, exemplify this fusion, blending the soul-stirring qualities of spirituals with the grandeur of symphonic and choral music. A pioneer in the classical world, Dett's contributions were not just artistic, they were cultural. At a time when African American composers struggled to be acknowledged in classical music circles, Dett's work stood as a powerful affirmation of the richness of African American musical traditions. He believed deeply in the value of his cultural heritage, and he used his music as a platform to showcase it to the world. His compositions, including choral works, piano pieces, and orchestral arrangements, highlighted the beauty and strength of African American culture, while also asserting that these traditions were worthy of a place in the broader classical music world. Legacy of cultural integration. R. Nathaniel Dett's legacy endures through his compositions, which continue to inspire musicians today. His ability to fuse the spirituals of his people with the forms of classical music was not just a musical achievement. It was a statement of cultural pride and artistic innovation. Dett's work demonstrated that the classical music world could embrace and celebrate African American musical heritage, and that these two worlds, often seen as separate, could exist harmoniously within the same musical landscape. Today, R. Nathaniel Dett is remembered not only as a composer, but as a trailblazer whose music reflects the power of identity, culture, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The Life and Legacy of Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky. Welcome to the next chapter in our journey through the lives of master composers, where we explore the brilliant and emotional music of Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky. A towering figure in Russian music, Tchaikovsky's works, ranging from ballets to symphonies to concertos, are beloved worldwide for their melodic richness, emotional depth, and dramatic intensity. Born on May 7, 1840, in Votkinsk, Russia, Tchaikovsky was the son of a well-off government official, but his early life was marked by a sense of emotional isolation. He began studying music at a young age and entered the St. Petersburg Conservatory in 1862, where his natural talent and unique style began to emerge. Throughout his life, Tchaikovsky wrestled with personal struggles, depression, loneliness, and a sense of alienation, which fueled the passion and intensity that can be heard in much of his music. A composer of emotion and melodic beauty, Tchaikovsky's music is renowned for its emotional expressiveness, characterized by sweeping melodies, dramatic contrasts, and vivid orchestration. His ability to evoke deep, universal emotions, whether joy, sorrow, love, or despair, through music is part of what makes him so beloved. Tchaikovsky's works often tug at the heartstrings, offering a glimpse into the soul of the composer, and have made an indelible mark on audiences around the world. Whether through the tender, lyrical phrases of his Piano Concerto No. 1 or the soaring, passionate themes of his Symphony No. 6, known as the Pathétique, Tchaikovsky's compositions express a profound vulnerability and power that transcends time and place. His music is simultaneously grand and intimate, filled with stirring melodies and moments of deep introspection. The ballets, Swan Lake and the Nutcracker. Among Tchaikovsky's most iconic and enduring works are his ballet scores, which have become an integral part of the classical repertoire. Swan Lake, 1876, is perhaps his most famous ballet, a haunting and tragic story of love, betrayal, and transformation. The ballet's score, with its richly lyrical themes and sweeping orchestration, perfectly captures the fairy tale quality of the narrative, while also expressing the deep inner conflict of the characters. The themes of Swan Lake, especially the main theme associated with the Swan Princess, Odette, are both delicate and intense, showcasing Tchaikovsky's gift for creating memorable melodies that resonate with the listener. Following the success of Swan Lake, Tchaikovsky composed The Nutcracker, 1892, another ballet that would become one of his most beloved works. Although it was initially met with mixed reviews, The Nutcracker has since become a holiday tradition worldwide, beloved for its enchanting melodies and whimsical atmosphere. The ballet's suite, with pieces like the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy and Waltz of the Flowers, is filled with charming, fantastical music that captures the magic of the holiday season. Even today, Tchaikovsky's music for The Nutcracker continues to be performed by orchestras and ballet companies, enchanting audiences with its timeless beauty. Symphonies and concertos, a deep emotional range. In addition to his ballet music, Tchaikovsky composed a number of symphonies and concertos that showcase the full spectrum of his musical talents. His Symphony No. 4 in F minor, 1877-78, is a perfect example of his ability to mix dramatic intensity with lyrical beauty, portraying a personal struggle with fate. The Pathétique, Symphony No. 6, 1893, composed in the final months of his life, is perhaps his most emotionally intense symphony, filled with a sense of despair and resignation, yet also moments of great tenderness and beauty. Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto No. 1 in B-flat minor, 1874, is another work that exemplifies his flair for emotional expression. The concerto's dramatic opening, with its bold, sweeping fanfare, gives way to a beautiful and lyrical second movement, which contrasts with the fiery, energetic finale. This concerto is one of the most popular and frequently performed piano concertos in the classical repertoire, known for its virtuosic demands on the pianist and its emotional grandeur. A lasting legacy, tragic genius, and musical triumph. Tchaikovsky's life was marked by personal turmoil and inner conflict. Despite achieving international fame, he was plagued by depression, a sense of isolation, and a difficult personal life. His struggles with his sexuality, combined with the expectations placed upon him as a composer, often caused him great distress. Yet through it all, Tchaikovsky's music stands as a testament to the power of artistic expression, fueled by the deep emotional currents that ran through his life. Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky passed away on November 6, 1893, at the age of 53. The exact circumstances of his death remain the subject of speculation, but his music endures as one of the most cherished bodies of work in the classical tradition. Today, his ballets, symphonies, concertos, and operas continue to be performed and loved by audiences worldwide, and his ability to communicate deep emotional truths through music has earned him a permanent place among the greats. Tchaikovsky's music, with its sweeping melodies, emotional depth, and dramatic intensity, remains an embodiment of the romantic spirit. It is a reminder that music can speak to the soul, offering a reflection of the joys, sorrows, and complexities of life. And through it, Tchaikovsky's voice lives on. Welcome to the next chapter of our journey through the lives of master composers, where we explore the remarkable story of Florence Price, one of the most groundbreaking and influential figures in American classical music. Born on April 9, 1887 in Little Rock, Arkansas, Florence Price's life was one of both profound challenges and extraordinary triumphs. As the first African-American woman to have a symphony performed by a major orchestra, Price defied the expectations of her time, breaking barriers in a world that sought to limit her artistic potential. A trailblazer in classical music. From a young age, Price displayed an exceptional musical talent. Raised in a family that valued education and the arts, she began studying music at an early age, quickly mastering the piano. Her musical journey led her to the New England Conservatory of Music in Boston, where she became one of the first African-American women to receive formal training in composition. Price's classical education was complemented by her deep connection to the African-American cultural heritage. Her music reflected the rich spirituals and folk melodies of the South, blending them seamlessly with the classical traditions she had studied. This fusion created a unique sound that celebrated both her African-American roots and her training in European classical music. The breakthrough Symphony Price's defining moment came in 1933, when her Symphony No. 1 in E minor was performed by the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, making her the first African-American woman to have a symphony performed by a major American orchestra. This historic event was not just a triumph for Price, it was a pivotal moment for African-American composers in classical music. Her symphony combined the emotional depth of African-American spirituals with the complexity of European classical forms, creating a powerful, evocative piece that resonated with audiences in ways that were both deeply personal and universally impactful. Legacy of innovation and inspiration. Throughout her career, Price composed a wealth of music, including symphonies, chamber works, choral pieces, and piano solos. But her legacy extends far beyond her compositions. Florence Price's courage in pursuing a career in classical music despite the racial and gender barriers of her time, paved the way for future generations of African American musicians. Her music continues to be celebrated for its vibrant expression of African American identity and its ability to bridge cultural and musical divides. Florence Price's contributions remind us of the power of music to challenge, inspire, and unite. As we continue to explore the stories of master composers, we see that Florence Price's legacy is not just in her symphonies and compositions, but in the doors she opened for others to follow. The life and legacy of Erik Satie. Welcome to the next chapter in our journey through the lives of master composers, where we explore the unconventional and visionary work of Erik Satie. Known for his eccentric style and minimalist compositions, Satie's music stands as a precursor to the avant-garde movements of the 20th century, influencing countless composers and artists along the way. Born on May 17, 1866, in Honfleur, France, Satie's early life was marked by an idiosyncratic approach to both his music and his personality. His unconventional nature, blending wit, humor, and a deep sense of introspection, shaped his compositions, which were often as much about mood and atmosphere as they were about structure and form. Breaking the mold, a minimalist pioneer, Satie was not interested in conforming to the established norms of his time. His music was deliberately simple, stripped down to its essence, often avoiding complex harmonies or virtuosic displays. This minimalist approach to composition would later influence key figures in the development of modern music, including composers like John Cage and Philip Glass. His works, such as Gymnopédie and Gnossienne, are marked by repetitive, meditative patterns and an almost hypnotic simplicity. These pieces, with their sparse harmonies and gently shifting melodies, evoke a sense of calm and introspection, drawing listeners into a contemplative space. Gymnopédie No. 1, perhaps his most famous piece, with its delicate, flowing piano lines and dreamlike atmosphere, became an early example of his ability to evoke profound emotion with very few musical elements. The piece's slow tempo and quiet, contemplative mood were revolutionary for its time, breaking away from the lush, complex music of the Romantic era. An eccentric personality and artistic vision, Satie's eccentricity extended beyond his music. He was known for his quirky personality, his unconventional dress, and his often humorous approach to both life and art. His frequent use of titles like furniture music for works that were intended to be background music, or his self-deprecating humor in his musical scores, marked him as a true individualist. Satie's avant-garde spirit was not only reflected in his music, but in his entire approach to the art of composition. His unique perspective was also expressed in his writings and his involvement with artistic circles, including his friendships with other influential artists such as Claude Debussy and Jean Cocteau. Through these collaborations and connections, Satie's influence extended beyond music, impacting the worlds of theater, visual art, and even literature. Legacy and influence on modern music. Though Satie was often seen as an outsider during his lifetime, his influence on later generations of musicians is profound. His minimalist style and unconventional approach to harmony and form paved the way for the avant-garde movements that would follow, from Dadaism to Surrealism and beyond. His music inspired the likes of John Cage, who would further explore the use of silence and unconventional sound structures, and even the repetitive patterns of minimalism in composers such as Steve Reich and Terry Riley. Erik Satie's music, with its simplicity and subtlety, continues to resonate with audiences today. His ability to distill complex emotions into deceptively simple melodies and to challenge traditional musical expectations has left an indelible mark on the evolution of modern music. In the end, Satie's legacy is one of innovation, eccentricity, and a relentless pursuit of individuality in art. His works invite listeners to hear the world differently, often finding beauty in the most understated moments and recognizing that sometimes less is truly more. Welcome to the next chapter in our exploration of master composers, where we dive into the life and music of one of America's most iconic figures, George Gershwin. A visionary composer whose work transcended genres, Gershwin is celebrated for his unique blend of classical music, jazz, and popular song. His compositions, such as Rhapsody in Blue and Porgy and Bess, have left an indelible mark on both the American and global music landscapes. Born on September 26, 1898, in Brooklyn, New York, Gershwin grew up in a bustling, vibrant environment that would serve as the perfect backdrop for his musical development. From a young age, he demonstrated an uncanny ability to absorb the sounds around him. By his teens, Gershwin was already working as a song plugger on Tin Pan Alley, the heart of America's popular music industry, where he learned the craft of songwriting and quickly made a name for himself. But it was his ability to blend classical elements with the infectious rhythms and improvisational spirit of jazz that would define his revolutionary approach to composition. Gershwin's genius lay in his ability to fuse the rich traditions of classical music with the lively energy of jazz and popular music. At a time when classical composers and jazz musicians rarely crossed paths, Gershwin bridged the gap with groundbreaking works that brought both worlds together. His Rhapsody in Blue, 1924, perhaps his most famous composition, was a defining moment in American music. Premiered in New York by the Paul Whiteman Orchestra, Rhapsody in Blue blended the grandeur of the classical concerto with the spirit and rhythms of jazz, capturing the energy and optimism of 1920s America. The piece opens with the famous clarinet glissando, a soaring, almost hypnotic introduction that sets the stage for a symphonic exploration of jazz-infused melodies. Gershwin's orchestration is lush and intricate, with sweeping themes that evoke both the high society of the concert hall and the bustling streets of New York. Rhapsody in Blue became an instant sensation, and its success helped establish Gershwin as one of the most innovative composers of his time. While Rhapsody in Blue exemplified Gershwin's ability to fuse genres, Porgy and Bess, 1935, stands as one of his most ambitious and enduring works. Often referred to as a folk opera, Porgy and Bess is set in the African-American community of Charleston, South Carolina, and is based on the novel Porgy by Du Bois Hayward. The opera blends classical orchestration with the rhythms and melodies of jazz, blues, and spirituals, creating a uniquely American sound that captured the complexities of race, poverty, and hope in early 20th century America. The music of Porgy and Bess is rich with unforgettable songs, including Summertime, I Got Plenty of Nuttin', and Bess, You Is My Woman Now. These iconic tunes have become deeply embedded in the American cultural consciousness, celebrated not only for their musical complexity, but also for their emotional depth. Porgy and Bess is considered a masterpiece of American opera, and its influence can still be heard in a wide range of musical genres today. In addition to his symphonic and operatic works, Gershwin was a prolific composer of popular songs, Broadway musicals, and film scores. His contributions to musical theater, such as Of Thee I Sing, 1931, and Strike Up the Band, 1927, shaped the sound of American musical theater for generations to come. Gershwin's ability to craft memorable melodies, combined with his gift for blending musical styles, made him a central figure in the development of American popular music. Despite his untimely death at the age of 38 in 1937, Gershwin's impact on music remains profound. His pioneering work in blending classical and jazz idioms helped to define a uniquely American sound, and his compositions continue to be performed by orchestras, jazz bands, and theater companies around the world. George Gershwin's legacy is a testament to his boundless creativity and his ability to capture the essence of American culture through music. From the grandeur of Rhapsody in Blue to the intimate emotions of Porgy and Bess, his works transcend genres and have become timeless pieces in the musical canon. As we conclude this chapter of our musical journey, we invite you to reflect on the rich legacies of these composers, how their lives and works have shaped the course of history. Through their creativity, resilience, and passion, they each left a timeless imprint that continues to inspire artists today. Of Harry T. Burleigh, one of the most influential African-American composers and arrangers in the history of classical music. Born on December 2, 1866, in Erie, Pennsylvania, Harry T. Burleigh's early life was shaped by both the hardships and the rich cultural legacy of his African-American heritage. A gifted singer and musician, Burleigh was drawn to the deep emotional power of African-American spirituals, and it was these powerful, heartfelt songs that would become the core of his musical voice. The spirituals as art. Though Burleigh began his musical career as a singer, his most lasting impact would come through his arrangements of African-American spirituals. These spirituals, passed down through generations of enslaved people, carried within them a profound sense of hope, sorrow, and resilience. Burleigh saw in these songs a deep well of musical potential and worked to bring their beauty to a wider audience. His arrangements, such as Deep River, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, and Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen, transformed these folk melodies into works that could be performed in classical concert settings, preserving their authenticity while elevating them to the formal standards of Western classical music. Through his brilliant arrangements, Burleigh became a bridge between two worlds, introducing the rich emotional depth of African-American spirituals to classical music, and in turn, helping to elevate African-American music to a place of respect and prominence within the classical tradition. A pioneer in popularizing African-American music, Burleigh's work was not just a technical achievement, it was a cultural milestone. As an arranger and composer, he was instrumental in the popularization of African-American music within classical contexts, helping to ensure that spirituals and folk songs were recognized as an essential part of the American musical canon. His collaborations with prominent singers, like the renowned baritone Roland Hayes, brought spirituals into concert halls across the country and helped solidify their place in Western classical music. In addition to his arrangements, Burleigh was also an accomplished composer in his own right, writing art songs and other vocal works that explored the themes of African American life and spirituality. These compositions, along with his arrangements, would go on to be performed by many of the leading singers of his time, and they remain staples in the classical vocal repertoire to this day. Legacy of cultural reverence and musical innovation. Harry T. Burleigh's legacy is one of deep cultural reverence and musical innovation. His work helped to elevate African American spirituals, transforming them into celebrated art forms within classical music, while remaining faithful to the emotional heart of these songs. Burleigh's compositions and arrangements continue to inspire musicians and singers around the world, and his influence can be felt in the ongoing tradition of spirituals in concert halls and recital stages. Through his dedication to preserving the richness of African American music and introducing it into classical spaces, Burleigh ensured that the songs of his people, songs born of hardship and hope, would resonate for generations to come. Harry T. Burleigh's music is a testament to the power of song to transcend boundaries, unite communities, and share the depth of the human experience. Born on November 24, 1868, in Texarkana, Texas, Scott Joplin emerged from humble beginnings to become one of the most celebrated composers of the ragtime genre. From a young age, Joplin exhibited a remarkable affinity for music. He was born into a family that appreciated the arts, with his mother being a former slave who played the piano and his father a former slave who played the violin. This nurturing environment fostered Joplin's early interest in music. As a child, he received piano lessons from a local teacher, quickly mastering the instrument and developing his unique style. His talent was so apparent that he began performing publicly while still a teenager, captivating audiences with his lively and syncopated melodies. Joplin's formal education in music began in the late 1880s when he moved to Sedalia, Missouri. There, he studied music theory and composition, honing his skills and drawing inspiration from the vibrant musical culture of the time. In Sedalia, Joplin became acquainted with other musicians and composers, immersing himself in the ragtime scene. He was influenced by the African American musical traditions of the South, as well as the popular European styles of the day, creating a fusion that would define his work. By the late 1890s, Joplin's works, like the iconic Maple Leaf Rag, began to appear on music stands across the country. Ragtime music, with its infectious syncopated rhythms and upbeat melodies, swept the nation, and Joplin's compositions became the soundtrack to a new era of American entertainment. His Maple Leaf Rag, in particular, would become one of the most widely recognized and influential pieces of music in history, shaping the course of American popular music for generations to come. Scott Joplin's contributions to ragtime were revolutionary, but his impact reached far beyond just a few compositions. Through his music, he elevated ragtime from a regional style to a respected genre within the classical music world. His compositions brought forth a new sense of rhythm, joy, and vitality that continues to inspire musicians to this day. Join us as we continue our journey through the lives of great composers, whose works and legacies have shaped the soundtrack of our history.